We are live. Okay, good to go.
What's up, all you vigilante comic fans out there? We're back with another edition of Crypto Comics Marketplace Mondays, where we break down the comic landscape into bite-sized chunks and let you into our world. I'm Matt Russell.
I'm Andrew Frey, and I'm reading off a script that Matt wrote for me because I was not aware that I should come prepared with everything memorized. So, yeah, basically what we're doing, we're from Crypto Comics. We just talk about all the news, go over everything. We got quite a bit to talk to you or with you about today. Hopefully you guys interact in the chat and follow along and tell us what you think and chime in and call Matt dirty names.
It's happened many times.
Yeah. Share your opinions. It's kind of what this is all about. Have some fun. This chat may become not the safest place for work. Small animals, children, your pet gopher might be a little awestruck. We tend to be opinionated, and we have some fun with it. So, hopefully you guys have some fun. Yeah. So let's see. First topics here.
All right. Well, first things first. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I know a lot of people out there, still in quarantine. Others are actually starting to get out there. Frey, what did you do for Mother's Day?
I saw my mom.
Sure she liked that.
She probably did. I mean, she made me, so it's her fault.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do you say? You made me, Mom. Thank you. I mean, honestly, I think that having a son as amazing as me is probably payment in itself, but
yeah, who knows? All right. So,
what about you? What'd you do?
What was that?
What'd you do? How'd your mom's day go?
Kind of hung out here with the wife and family, and then went over to my mom's house and hung out there for a little bit. Then came home, had dinner, got our hot tub set up. So finally got to relax in that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Can I come over and use your hot tub then?
Sure.
Yes.
You have to wear a bathing suit.
Who's making these rules?
I've heard stories, man. Come on, man.
Who's making all of these rules?
I am. All right. So, Frey, you had some interesting news about Diamond distribution. Kind of what's going on there?
So many rules. Let's see. So, well, with Diamond, I mean, as everybody knows, Diamond kind of shut down because of the whole virus thing. That's how they handled it, which is understandable in this situation. The repercussions of those choices are now being seen kind of across the entire comic book universe now, with small shops realizing that a majority of their sales are new books every week. And now we're actually starting to see the first trickle flow of, what the big guys and what they plan to do with everything. So let's see here. How do we go about this? First would probably be Marvel in the news right now. This was reported out like 3 days ago by comicbook.com. Marvel is actually entirely changing up the process of how they're handling digital books, which is very interesting. Rather than keep their main priority and focus on printed, floppies, as we call them.
About time.
What they're doing is they're basically putting everything they've got and converting it over from their old subscription model that they had on their website just to an iOS and Android app. They sent out an email basically just telling everybody, hey, you're switching. That's what you're doing if you want to keep your digital collection. From my research and what I've seen, they are going to stay on Comixology. But essentially that's it.
So are they going to be putting new books on Comixology or just keeping their existing line?
I haven't been able to find a clear answer on that, so I don't know. I would expect them to. I think it'd be kind of, you know, kind of dumb on their part to limit that scope, but who knows nowadays. I think it's more interesting just because I mean we all kind of saw what happened when DC, tried to leverage everything that they had on an app that wasn't quite ready for things, and
No, no, it wasn't.
yeah, it
That
didn't
was
work out real well. But I mean, everybody learns, so we'll see if Marvel can actually step it up. I mean, one thing that Marvel does have is everybody knows they've got the mouse's bank account, so they can come up with just about anything they want, really. They do have quite a bit of server infrastructure and things like that with Disney Plus behind them and all that. But the one thing that worries most people right now, I think, in the industry is what is this going to do to the small shops? I mean, basically, that's how Marvel's handling things. DC has entirely switched over to a different printing platform, which is very surprising. Uh, so they won't even be using Diamond, at least for the foreseeable future. They're going they're going straight to Melda Home Comics, which is kind of interesting because Matt and I we kind of grew up in that generation where a lot of us didn't have a comic book shop close to home. We lived more in rural areas and stuff, and so to me that seemed kind of a natural step back and to something that also still worked. But it's from everything that I'm reading, especially in the whole Twitter sphere, that's kind of a new idea that a lot of people aren't really taking on to very much. As the 98 says, I love Marvel films. Yeah, Marvel makes some awesome movies.
they do. They
That's
do.
true. But yeah, so what a lot of people are worried about is how difficult is it going to be for you to get these new books? You know what I mean? We're already, I think DC's 2 weeks back. You might have to correct me on that, Matt, but I think they're 2 weeks back right now. They're looking
I
at
believe.
catching up that back catalog. But the thing is I don't know with mail order, it's got its benefits, as I said, but really the downside that I see to that is that DC's never gonna know you by name. You know what I mean? And that's the difference between something like that and your local shop.
Hmm.
Um, DC's never gonna ask you how your mom's doing when you go in to pick up your new books. And I think that if that element of this industry dies, then that's really the backbone of what holds everything together. I mean, that's what all of us are built off of. That's what we care
Well,
about. Crypto comics. That's what you know. Um. So yeah, I
back in
mean,
the 90s, actually, Marvel sent one of their executives out to the local comic book stores
mm-hmm,
to actually find out, what the actual business is like now.
mm-hmm,
Um, Good part about that is Marvel, finally got woke up to the reality of Diamond Distributing, how it at one point in time saved the industry. Now it's actually kind of hurting it. Unfortunately, Marvel decided not to do anything at the time, um, and just
mm-hmm.
keep printing new various covers and things like that. So they started to take the right approach, but then just backed off. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with Diamond Distributing, that's how a lot of these comic book stores are getting their books. And with the upheaval over at DC Comics, um, if that goes under, then who knows what's going to happen with Diamond, which could potentially
Right.
put almost 98% of the small comic book shops under. So, um, indie creators, we've talked about the big two. How are they handling kind of the shakeup with Diamond?
I've seen a lot of interesting approaches with this. Um, One of the primary things that I noticed is is that lately, at least over like the last 6 months, I think that a lot of indie creators that I've seen at least have seen the industry and the buying patterns of their fans starting to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because of the virus, obviously. This, predated that by a little bit. But I did notice that a lot of creators, they were going away from having the 63 different friggin' covers for one book. They were going away from um, you know the heavy cross ties and the heavy cross promotions. They were seeing that you know even if somebody's a fan of your book and someone else's, they might like those for two entirely different things, and that merging those things isn't always the best case. But I've also seen some creators really kind of step out of the realm and make something awesome happen with that idea. The thing is though is because indie creators are so, I mean, they're so damn good really at
Oh,
marketing that they saw they saw things changing well before someone like Marvel or DC or their boardrooms or anything like that sees it coming. You can look at any indie creator, see exactly what they're throwing up on Kickstarter right now, see what they're doing on, Indiegogo, if that's their platform of choice. You can see what they're doing on Crypto Comics. You can see what they're doing, just as they set up shop at a local convention, and you can see that transition and that change even from one month to the next. That the whole point of being able to sustain and feed your kids as an indie creator is just to keep that money going.
mm-hmm.
And
A lot are turning to YouTube and Patreon page.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Patreon's been, I mean, and that's been really blowing up. And I'm pretty thankful that it exists, especially with the whole shutdown situation and everything going on with the virus and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of creators that were, I mean, realistically, most creators that's not their full time job. You know, that's
Mhm.
that's their passion project. It's what they do. After work, it's what they're trying to make happen, and having things like Patreon, having things like their Kickstarters, having things like Facebook live sales. I've seen a lot of creators starting to do that. Um, including more substantially personalized bonuses into their sales, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, that's making things huge. Um, for them, the downside of that is that when you factor in that that's their only income, that's still not very big. It might be huge on an industry level as a giant migration twist. Um, considering 6 months ago, there was a ton of indie creators that were sitting there on Facebook and everything. Hey, Cardell, what's up, man? Um,
Hey, Cardell's on there.
there was a lot of creators that were sitting there talking about how the indie movement was dead. That Marvel and DC and Boom and Dark Horse, that they had essentially cornered the entire market to where, as an indie creator, if you didn't find somebody at a convention or on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, like you
Hmm.
were burnt. You know what I mean? And now we're seeing that that's very much not the case. I'm seeing a lot of people that might have been into comic books previously and they might go out and collect their golden age. They might just want to find the stuff that they read in like the early 90s, the late 80s when they were kids. I'm seeing a
Hmm.
lot of them now that they're out of work and they're bored. They start looking at more indie creators because now DC, now Marvel, now these idea box firms are held back, and the entire market is just trickling in with just kind of a flood of really awesome indie work, which
Oh yeah,
is badass because
yeah, it
that's
is.
the way this industry is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of running on a tangent there. Sorry, but I
No,
think it's
no,
pretty
that's a good
cool.
tangent. Like, I mean, personally, I got into comics, and it was just an escape. Just everything about reality kind of melted away. You had
Mm-hmm.
great stories, you had great art, and everything about the comics just came to life. Now, everything is getting kind of pigeonholed into that Hollywood format. And
Yeah.
so you have to move away from the big two if you want to read that just 100% original story
Mm-hmm.
that just, takes your breath away and just, oh, you get so excited about it.
Right.
Uh, so many creators out there. It's awesome in the indie community. And to, to watch them really come into their own, um, kind of due to the virus and everything that's kind of
Hmm.
progressed since then. It's just been awesome.
Right. Yeah, and I think what's really amazing about that is that I'll, trying to think of a happy way of wording this is I think a lot of indie creators are looking at what they've been putting out the last 2 or 3 years, and this is giving them that focus where they say, "Look, now it's all or nothing. I'm
Hmm.
either invested in this or I'm not." You know what I mean? Um, and honestly, I'm trying to think of a really good way of wording this before somebody sets me on fire in the comments here. Um, really, what I'm looking forward to is that right after this shutdown, I think we're going to see such a flood of just new ideas and groundbreaking elements and all these things that these amazing creators can come up with when they're secluded away and their head can really get those gears turning.
You know, kind of before the shutdown, it's been like that, and I loved it.
Mhm.
Like picking up a comic book with a soundtrack,
Yep.
um, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, it's been phenomenal. So
Well, not only that, creative ways of marketing their comic books. I have seen some cool stuff, man. Like, I mean,
oh yeah.
now it's been a minute since we've been to conventions, but the most recent convention that we went to down there in Las Vegas, the Level Up convention. I mean, we saw people building actual interactive comic books with video games, where a video game was actually their marketing platform to push their comic book, and that's so insane because I mean, and Matt here will know, but some of the viewers, anybody that's watching right now on any of the platforms we're streaming on, back in the day, our comic books used to always have an advertisement for a new game every time. It didn't matter. It was either the back cover or it was the inside front cover. There was always something for Acclaim's coming out with Mortal Kombat or
Oh
um,
yeah. Hmm.
like Donkey Kong Country is coming out. I mean, just you know, I know I'm dating myself now. People are gonna be watching the stream and they're like, "Oh my god, I run those on emulators." Yeah, we get it, dude. All right, I'm old. Understood. You know,
Yeah.
but that was our marketing. That was that was how those creators were able to substantiate the cost of their book and putting it out. And back then, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but back then, like Marvel and DC, they weren't the heavy hitters that they are now. I mean, they were barely getting by. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a reason why now, Fox has half of Marvel's properties for the
Yeah.
movies and stuff. I mean, it's from all the way back then, when Stan Lee had to do what he had to do. Well, I shouldn't say Stan Lee; it was a group of people, but
Yeah.
um,
It was a wise decision at the time.
yeah, it
Uh,
saved their studio. We wouldn't have a Marvel anymore if it wasn't for that decision. But
but as a
we
result, we
also
did get the first couple 1970s Captain America movies.
right.
Oh,
I still love
yeesh.
them, but you know me,
You know,
dude. They're funny. They are funny.
yeah,
If you're not
yeah.
watching it for to learn, you're gonna have a good time. But um, have a couple beers, laugh at the weird acrylic shield. It's gonna be fine. My favorite part is Thor's coat. Now I gotta look that up so that everybody knows what I'm talking
Thor's
about. But
coat. Oh,
yeah,
jeez. Hey, come on. There was that
yeah,
all black Daredevil costume in there. But my personal favorite scene was when Captain America, uh, I don't even remember why he like picked up his motorcycle and threw it, and I was just like,
yeah.
what was the
Uh,
point of that?
I mean, come on. How how can anyone not look at this this weird coat like
Oh yeah,
breastplate thing? I mean, this is awesome. And I mean, yeah, they
oh,
had
horrible.
they had Lou, which is all you
Oh
need.
yeah, true.
But I mean,
But little tidbit, it wasn't even Bruce Banner. It was David Banner.
yeah,
They said Bruce sounded too, what's the word? Homosexual.
oh really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Don't get mad at us, chat. Get mad at Marvel.
Yep. Hey, not us. So
uh,
yeah, he was David Bruce Banner in that.
Another interesting fact: I get kicked out of Walmart every time I show up dressed like the 1970s Avenger Thor. Who would have thought?
I've looked at people at Walmart.com, and I think that should be perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
You're wearing 10 times the clothes half the people on that are wearing, so should be allowed.
You know what? If I want to be me, who's anyone else to disagree? I mean, look at the villains here, though. This is amazing.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, that's just too snappy. You know what I mean? They got
I
their
love it.
members only jackets on, you know, the Kmart haircut. We're gonna get you this time, Banner.
It was almost criminal.
I'm gonna have to watch that again tonight now.
Yeah. So we've actually had quite an influx of backlog for creators
Mm-hmm.
um, uploading their work. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about, let's say, the rights of the creators with the big comic book companies. Um, you sell your rights, and as the creator, and I mean sometimes you get that you're created by so and so. Others, it's not written in a contract, so
Right.
you just kind of at that point it's a work for hire kind of thing. What
Mm-hmm.
about when they upload to our site, Fry?
No, not at all. And why are you asking me this? You know it. You can talk about it.
Well, I know it, but I'm wanting you to kind of explain it to
Yeah.
everybody.
So the long and short of it, I guess, is if Matt here makes a comic book, signs up for Crypto Comics, uploads that comic book, sells it for 15 years, makes $1 billion because it's the greatest comic book that has ever existed in the history of the world, the best
Hmm.
comic ever. You know, and a lot of people tell him that it's the best comic ever. But
Yeah, my mom tells me
yeah, his mom.
that. Yeah.
So that all goes down, and then all of a sudden, here he is. He's sitting there. Here's Warner Brothers knocking on his door. Hey, we want to make a movie. You know, he's sitting there. Matt's more worried about the script. He wants to make sure that nobody mutters Martha. I know it's Mother's Day, but we're in agreement here. That should have
Oh
never
boy,
happened. Release the Snyder Cut. Yep. So,
I want that stuff cut.
yeah, yes. It probably doesn't really exist, but even if it doesn't, they should make one right now and just
Okay.
pump it
All
out.
right, back on topic. Back on
So,
topic.
so Matt's looking at selling the rights because now instead of comic book money, Matt wants Hollywood money because we all know those are two totally different things. Um,
Yeah, it's like three separate zeros or something.
yeah,
The
yeah,
difference.
something like that. It's pretty big. He wants to live next to Drake and Kanye West. He wants to have them over for brunch. So he's then got to sell the rights and the license rights to his characters. Or he pulls a George Lucas and says, "No, I retain all the rights for toys," and then makes a killing the rest of his life.
Hmm.
There's a million different ways you can do this, but the most important thing that we're bringing up here is that you don't do that at all with crypto comics whatsoever. We don't ever ask for any usage rights whatsoever. Um, and we will never even go across that. The only time we even use anybody's stuff is if we're making marketing materials for you, and even then, you get a phone call from me saying, "Hey, I'd really like to put you on a T-shirt. How would you feel about that?" You know. So yeah, we don't retain any of those usage rights. We don't ever ask for them. We don't borrow them. We don't use them for a day. We don't use them for a minute. Those are yours, mainly because we're a platform built by comic fans and by creators and by software developers, and all of us get together and we're all the same type of mentality where it's what you create should always remain yours. Just because we're helping you sell it doesn't mean that you should ever lose that being your baby. You know what I mean? um Again, I'm gonna start running on a tangent here, but yeah, it's important stuff, man. you see a lot of people that don't understand or they don't realize like what that really means and what that could mean in the future. Um, for example, imagine if Stan Lee and Kirby were sitting there and they were coming up with, some oddball ideas, and they just said, "Ah, it's all right, cool. We'll sell it to DC. We'll make $50." Like back then, they would have loved to have $50, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
But now all of a sudden, DC's got, Spider Man, or DC's got the Avengers, or, you know what I mean? It changes the entire world. Um, Again, to go back to what we were talking about before, I mean, look at the difference between Fox and Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, they retained their own usage rights. Well, I should say they were bought and then bought and then bought and then bought by Disney, and then Disney bought Marvel, and then Marvel Studios became Marvel Studios. But
hmm
essentially, those are their own IPs, their own creations that they own and that they control. Others, Spider-Man, for example, they sold off to Fox, and love it or hate it, some people have liked the Spider-Man movies. Some people have hated how they've been rebooted, all those kind of things. There's nothing that Marvel can do about that whatsoever.
true.
Um, we don't need to go into the politics of that and everything, but all you got to do is look at Fantastic Four.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer. I mean, can we
hmm
just get something done so that he's actually portrayed correctly? Dude, he's
Yeah.
next to Galactus, he's the most powerful thing in the universe, and you CGI'd
Fantastic
him
Four 2.
breakdancing through a tunnel. Like, yeah,
Fantastic Four 2, Silver Surfer, I thought they did him good. They did him justice. Everybody else, not so much. And Galactus, I don't know what they were trying to do with him. But
yeah.
that's a whole other. Mm, no, that's 4 hours of me ranting. We
Yeah.
can't get it.
Why?
No, no,
Why can't
no.
we?
Because I will start swearing. I will have a nervous breakdown. It will be bad. Nope, nope, can't
That's
get it.
what's fun about this whole idea that we've got going here, Matt. Is that it's kind of like a podcast, man. We can take as long as we want. We can end it right now if we want to. We'd be like, all right, guys, I'm off later. You know what I mean? And who cares?
No, no. Okay, I'm saying I'm under doctor's orders. My heart. I can't go into how bad they screwed up Galactus.
Yeah.
No, no.
Is that be like for
I'm
the
already
same type
feeling
of
bad.
reasons that I shouldn't sit here and be like, did you hear that they might be working on a new Superman?
Shut up.
I mean, what if they did?
If they had the right script, it would be amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And hashtag bring back Henry.
Yes. Amen to that.
I think everybody's just in agreement here. I mean, there's
Yep.
a couple of people that had some cool ideas. We'll say that much.
Speaking of which, so the new Superman, I guess they were planning on releasing a Supergirl movie, and they
Mm-hmm.
finally canceled that in order to refocus on Superman.
Wait, did they
So,
really cancel it?
yeah,
Oh, we got to
everybody
Google this.
on Twitter and everything was saying that the Supergirl movie is
Oh,
axed for
the
now.
movie, not the television
Oh
show.
no, not the show, the movie. Um, yeah, I hate to say it, but I do watch that show.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy.
Hmm.
It looks like that was put out by We Got This Covered. So I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
I'm gonna hold out until DC says it,
okay.
because you know I wouldn't trust a damn thing that We Got This Covered puts out, man.
No, no, I was looking at Reddit and stuff like that. So,
Oh, well, everybody on Reddit knows what they're talking about.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, no, there are some people that
Everybody.
I follow that one guy, was talking about Fat Thor about 3 months before the movie came out. I thought he was full of it, and I
Yeah.
just kind of kept reading it because I was like, okay, this guy's an idiot. And then I'm sitting in theaters, and all of a sudden, Fat Thor. I was like,
You're like,
wow,
oh no. See,
yeah,
if I had that type of information, Man, I would have so much fun with it because I would never put out the real information.
Oh, I
I
know.
I would boomerang that thing. You know what I mean? I'd be like, for Fat Thor, for example, I'd be like, oh, Thor's got a medical condition now. You know what I mean? And make people think that like, oh my God, Thor's got testicular cancer. Did you hear this guy on Reddit was just talking about it? And I mean, I'd have so much fun doing that because then you just sit
Oh,
back and watch the entire internet explode at all this false information. I mean, wait, that's what everybody does on Facebook right now.
yeah.
Ah,
But
crap.
you would do it intentionally.
Yeah,
They do
yeah.
false information.
I might
And
just
then
start
pass
doing
it
it
on.
now. Why not? Just start throwing wrenches out there. If you throw 100 dodgeballs, one of them might hit something. You know what I mean?
All right.
Then
All
all
right.
of a, then all of a sudden, Marvel's hitting me up, going, "How did you know about the testicular cancer Thor, story arc?" I'd be like, my buddy Matt told me.
Crap. Yeah. Throw me under the bus. I appreciate it. Yeah. Love you too, man.
Yeah. So we got to talk about this now because we already brought up Fox and
Okay.
Marvel and all that. So everybody loves Deadpool, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The Deadpool
Yep.
movie series are killing it. And I'll be honest with you, I thought in the original, what was it? The X-Men 3 or whatever? Which one was it? Oh man, my mind's drawing a blank.
Wolverine
Anyways,
Wait. Wolverine. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
yep. So
Okay.
when they did Deadpool in that, I wanted to give up entirely on any idea that Marvel characters were going to be properly portrayed. I think everybody did.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was never a huge Deadpool comic fan. I think for the most part, nobody really was. There was just somebody that you liked. I know
Yeah.
that there's like kind of an off cusp with people that really like Deadpool. But before the movie came out, man, he was he was a supporting character that kind of arched through a lot of different storylines.
See, I
Um,
used to read a lot more of the Cable and Deadpool stories, but
hmm
it was more for Cable. I liked Cable. Deadpool was just the other guy in it.
right, yeah, it was, he was the comedic relief kind of a
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, didn't take it too seriously, and I think that played out really well in the movies. So it's obviously fantastic. But what's going on now is that Deadpool 3 is being delayed. And, he's my favorite person in the world ever. But Rob Liefeld decided to throw out a quote saying, I blame Marvel. Blame Marvel that this hasn't happened yet, or that hasn't happened yet. They're the reason it isn't happening. Whatever conundrum or didn't fit into your master plan, just commission it, okay? Commission it. If Frank Frazetta was still around, you would say, Frank, paint it for me. So, A, am I the only one that gets a little upset that Rob Liefeld, of all people, is trying to say what Frank Rosetta should be? You know what I mean? Like he's in some type of situation where he would be like, "Oh, make Frank go over there do it." He's over in the corner. Like, screw you, dude. Frank Frazetta. If you guys
Hey,
don't know who he is, go look at Conan. Go look at, I mean, anything wondrous and amazing and beautiful and awe-inspiring. Anything Frank Frazetta, he could have painted the label for a box of spoons and it would have made you drool. And he's classic. Anything that he did was absolutely amazing. So don't get me wrong on any front of that. But that's not the way this industry is. Um, and it's a movie, man. There's going to be delays. I understand that Rob needs to have his, you know, creator of Deadpool moniker to, make sure he can buy a seventh friggin' house. But you still
and
can't draw feet, you bastard.
oh man,
Yep, he
this
said
is
it.
where we can differ again, okay? Because I actually really, really do appreciate Rob's work. I always
Mm-hmm.
have. I've always been a fan. With every single uh, comic artist out there, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have a few panels where you're just kind of scratching your head and just going, I don't know what you're even trying here.
So
There have been a few exceptions, but yeah, I know you're going to bring up the Captain America picture, aren't you?
what?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Yeah, I know the whole bookshelf chest thing. Come on now.
What?
Even I understand that.
Am I wrong?
No, no,
What?
but
I think he accurately portrayed it. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this. He's right on the
oh,
money. He is right on the money here. You know
you, uh,
what?
hey, I will defend Rob to my dying day. I love, I love his work, and you know what? I actually
Hmm?
really, as a kid, I loved that Heroes Reborn story. I hated Captain America up until that Heroes Reborn story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was that was good to me. That was granted some of the pictures were a little wonky, and you know, even as a kid, I was like, okay, that's off. That's not right. But I just
I
went
don't
with
know. It
it.
looks legit to me.
Ah,
I'll tell you what. Like, I will give credit where credit's due. He is an amazing artist.
mhm.
I think he does over embellish quite a bit.
Yes.
And I personally believe that he does that more to try to catch people's attention than anything else. I do not know what would make anyone ever think that the star on Captain America's chest here is even close to aligned in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't know what he's going for there. But I'm also not published by Marvel, so I should probably just shut the hell up. So, I mean, you can sit and love him, and that's great. I'll be the guy that gets asked to leave his booth every time we're near him in a convention. But that's what's so great about this industry is everybody's got, you know, the things they want to complain about and the things they want to gripe about. You know, his currently right now is being upset with Marvel. Um, I mean, I could pretty much assure you that if he was still being widely published on Marvel, he probably wouldn't be saying these things. He is known quite a bit for creating some waves and trying to get people over to pay close attention to elements like his X series of comics and all those kind of things, which is cool. Um,
Well, he's
you
also
you do
been
you.
kind of blasted recently in the news for him and Ethan Van Shriver, the stuff that they're saying about DC.
Hmm.
Now, I've followed the story pretty closely, and
And
I
that was a
have
couple months ago, right?
not, this is an ongoing thing. The last thing I read about that was yesterday, actually. Was it? No, it was Saturday. There was a new post about that. So,
Yeah, and that had to do with his Twitter specifically, but yeah, yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah,
he's right
September
on the
3rd
money.
is when that
So,
started. Yep. But yeah, go on. I'm just pulling it up so that people can see.
oh, no, no, I was just looking at the screen so I could see it too. I got
Yeah,
the
he put save
here.
DC Comics, talking about how there was a new CEO of AT&T. If
Yeah.
those of you that don't know, AT&T actually owns Warner Brothers, who owns DC Comics. So if
Mhm.
you're wondering where the connection is there, that's right. DC Comics
Have you
makes the
found that?
5G towers that's giving everybody the virus.
No, so
Please,
there's
I think I should
a
stop
lot going.
everything really quick. And just
Yeah.
as a reminder, anyone that's watching, don't believe anything I say ever. I'm a I'm a terrible, terrible human being, and I find it humorous to make awful, awful dad jokes during situations that you shouldn't be joking in, just to try to make everybody smile and then make them appreciate me a little bit more.
or the death threats. You know, whatever. Either one.
Yeah, yeah, that happens. If you don't
Only
get
happen.
3 death threats a week, are you really doing your job though?
No, no, you are
Yeah.
not. Okay.
Ah,
Um,
I
but no,
gotta.
I can agree with what Rob is saying. Honestly, to a point. You know, yeah, right now everybody's still kind of on lockdown, or you know, you have entire studios that have managed to get COVID-19. Sorry, so they're still everything's on hold. Some are still in recovery. Um, Although this doesn't all have to do with um, COVID-19. There is that whole Marvel's got their master plan, their overall arcing
Yep.
story. Everything fits in there to some degree. And so to bring in Deadpool, I've heard people saying that they want Deadpool as the new cameos, and I disagree with that. I know for a fact that you love that idea.
I don't
I
know that
don't.
I love the idea. I don't dislike it at the same time, though. I guess I'd probably be kind of neutral on that one.
Well, see, Deadpool wouldn't have fit into all the Marvel movies. Look at Captain America: Civil War. If you had Deadpool just suddenly pop up in there, it would be forced.
Brilliant.
It's completely out of place.
Actually, that would be exactly where you would expect to see him pop up, though. You know what I mean?
I don't want to see that
Like
happen.
come walking through the portal after the snap, and he's just like, "Oh shit! Like, what happened?" You know what I mean? Like, or even better, like it was nothing at all. You know, like just to be expected. You know, he just walks up with the Avengers like he was there the entire time.
Oh yeah.
You know, um, no, I don't. I don't love the idea of anyone. I don't know, trying to fill the role of Stan Lee. I think that's kind of my only caveat on it
Mhm.
is let him be a legend. Don't try to continue that. Do you know what I mean? Let Stan be exactly who Stan always was. You know?
You know, I would honestly like to see the next like Stanley cameo, like watching one of those old documentaries about comics or something. Just
Mm-hmm.
walking past the TV as Stan Lee's talking. But okay,
Mm-hmm. That would
you know,
actually be cool. Yeah, fit
yeah.
into the little ones. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
So I
Actually, I
think we
really like
need to
that.
get way back on topic. Uh,
We're never
Kind
on
of want to
topic.
touch up on some reading recommendations.
Oh, we
Both
gonna do our
comics.
bookshelf rant? Oh,
Yeah,
baby.
let's do it. Okay,
Oof.
Brian, what are you
So,
reading?
okay. So this one I have to bring up two for what I'm
Okay.
reading because I'd be cheating if I didn't bring up two, right? So, first of all, what I'm reading is Morning Star by Jeremy.
Mhm.
Um,
Great series.
awesome series. I just kind of stumbled back across it, started rereading it. It's amazing. Same dude does the art, the storylines, I mean, everything from writing it to literally I I wouldn't be surprised if this dude's binding on, the floppies himself in his garage, man. This guy's doing just about everything. We've got
Really,
an
yeah,
interview with
go
him.
crazy.
Super cool guy. So make sure you look up that video on YouTube, Facebook, stuff like that. We weren't really prepared to speak about this, so I didn't prepare links, but you guys can find them. You know where to look. Um, I guess I should plug where to look, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Now
So we
you
got
have to, yeah.
YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook. And we're everywhere. I am everywhere.
That's scary.
You're welcome. Um, so yeah, been reading that. But at the same time, my my boy Mike, you know where this is going. My boy Mike on put something up on Facebook. Book 5 was completed. Now taking orders. Done.
Yep.
So in Crypto Comics, I am reading Morningstar. Outside of Crypto Comics, I am reading the floppies of book 1 through 4 that I previously purchased from Mike, which are also available in Crypto Comics. So yeah, this is kind of cheating, but not really because I bought those I bought 1 through 3 like 6 months before he even signed up. I just stalked him until he would. Also, another interview we have. Great dude.
I
But I'm
mean,
so
I
amped
mean,
up for book
oh,
5. Oh, I even broke my rule. I bought the variant and made sure that I got it signed by everybody before reading the book. Something I've never ever done on any book. But I was too worried that the variant would sell out and then I'd be mad that I didn't get the variant.
okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so those are what I'm reading right now. I have on the list here, let's see, new on our system. That's right.
Yeah.
We got Anna
Um,
Green Gables is up in there now. Anybody that
my
doesn't
mom
know,
read that as when I was a little kid. She loved that book. So um, when Blue Water Comics or Tidal Wave, they were just like, hey, we got to upload this. So I uploaded it for him, and it was instantly like, holy cow, I gotta call my mom and, hey, we have this comic. And there
That's
was that,
cool.
you have the what comic? And I'm like, it's Anne of Green Gables. They don't have that's not a comic book. There's no superheroes in that. I'm like, no, it's here.
It is
So
now, Mom.
yeah. So I reread all of those, which it was just, yeah. um Outside of our system, I'm still picking up a lot of those older DCs. Right now, I have two. There's Batman Contagion. I love that series. I could read it over and over and over again. I'm, kind of the late '90s, huge fan of DC.
Mm-hmm.
So like Zero Hour, stuff like that. Loved it. Other than that, what's brand new on the shelves? That Lois Lane issue 10. It's a completely different take on Lois Lane. It's no longer that damsel in distress. She can really hold her own with in the middle of
Gangster
Superman.
Lane.
Yeah.
Gangsta Lois.
So I like that aspect of it. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about that. That sounds interesting. I am not gonna promise that I'll go out and check it out, but I might, I might go give it a look. I might.
all right, I'll tell you what. You go check that out, and I'll go read your
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Cosmic Ghost Rider. I'll check out the whole series.
You already read Cosmic Ghost Rider. You hated it. I'm not gonna put you through
No,
that again.
I only read like the first two issues of it, and then like skipped towards the middle, and it's like, no, it just happened. So,
No, just saying, I like it, but
okay.
I know people are gonna watch this and be like, "This Fry dude has a terrible taste in comics," and I don't. The problem is
No,
that
no, I agree with you on what you were reading.
I like
I
so many
love that stuff.
different weird things that it just depends on the day that you talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, one day I'm all about Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then the very next day I'm like, oh no, I'm going back through my Thor catalog because, I have every issue of Mighty Thor and I wanted to read it all from first to end again because why? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or then 3 days later, I'm like, oh, dude, my buddy on this video game, he was telling me about this, book from Boom Studios. So I went and had to pick it up, and I'm all over the place, guys. I'm everywhere.
Well, I got a question for you. Okay, since we're talking about you liking stuff kind of all over the map, who
Hmm.
is better, Marvel or DC?
Well, Marvel. I mean,
Okay.
you're a teacher. I hope you get this right.
See, I'm a DC
Ah.
fan. Although I
Hmm.
love Marvel, I think DC has the edge. And
I know, and that's what's going to make this little podcast thing that we're doing, I think, interesting to people is because they're going to watch it and be like, oh, these two have such different, varying opinion points. They can have discussions on it and not try to beat one another up, and we
which
can
would be
watch
fine.
it and understand that Fry is right and Matt is wrong, but it's still
Oh,
entertainment.
no. Okay,
What? What did I get
now
wrong? What
let's.
happened?
All right. I think it's obvious when it comes to movies, Marvel has it all the way.
How do see, and that's where I'm going to weird everybody out. Like, no, Batman v Superman wasn't the greatest masterpiece of cinema history. No, it
Yeah,
wasn't even the best DC comic book movie. No, it wasn't even the top 5. But DC does have ridiculously good movies if you can watch them and tunnel vision out the entire Marvel universe surrounding you. You know
I
what I
will
mean?
agree.
Like you said
I
before,
think
that the
I think you have to watch the extended editions in order to actually get the story that they wanted to tell.
mhm.
If you can do that, Man of Steel, amazing. Batman v Superman had a lot more to offer than you would think.
Mm.
Um,
See, I'm going off of so for
but if
example, Mercedes, my daughter Mercedes.
Mhm.
That kid I take her to every opening of every comic book movie because
Yeah,
you're like,
I take my daughter Cadence.
gotta do
So
it. Gotta do it. It's tradition. I'll bet you 95% of the time she just passes out anyways. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. Like
okay,
she likes Guardians, stuff like that. She's like, it's funny. I don't really give a crap about any of the characters. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, Dad. Okay, you know. I don't know why she
okay.
talks like a bar floozy. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that one out. Anyways, but I took her to see Wonder Woman,
If he's watching this
and
video right now, I'm sorry on his behalf
uh,
for saying that.
um, so we watched Wonder Woman, and she loved it. She was constantly engaged in that show from beginning to end.
Wonder Woman was phenomenal. The only
Yeah,
thing I would
such a
ever
badass show.
change is the whole mustache um, on Ares. That's it.
Why?
I almost said on Henry Cavill. Oops.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't bring up that one.
No, I couldn't stand the mustache once I realized, and it was pretty obvious pretty quick that who he was,
Right.
but that's the only thing I would have changed. And normally it's like, oh, I could have done this different, or I could have done this different. I would have just handed him a straight razor and been like, okay, we're good.
Really?
I love that movie. Oh yeah. Aquaman, I loved Aquaman.
Yeah,
Until
I enjoyed Aquaman.
My son actually brought this up. Was it Saturday? He was like, well, where do you get the costume? I'm like, oh, he stole it off a dead guy. And then instantly my son was like, that's creepy. He just stole it off a dead body. And I was like, yeah.
I didn't think about that now. That kind of ruined that section for me.
Yeah, that's the only, I
Bummer.
didn't think about it until, ever since that movie came out, I was like, this is so great. Until Saturday, I started thinking about it, and crap. Ooh, gross. Like, you didn't wash it or nothing. Okay. It is what it is.
I think it's socially acceptable now for even dudes to have a man crush on Jason Momoa after that movie, though, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible even as a straight dude. That's cool. I'm gonna watch that movie and not be like, oh wow, something's awakened in me. You know what I mean? So go DC.
Yeah, I remember telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be at the Salt Lake convention.
Mm-hmm.
And she
super
was
cool
like,
guy too. So
yeah,
cool.
he was like, I'm leaving you for him, right? I was like, fair enough.
You're like, not. You better be faster than me, honey.
But no, as far as the movies go, I think Marvel has consistently just knocked out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
They just really have. I even enjoyed Thor: Dark World. I really did. Here's where everybody's gonna get mad at me. I liked it better than Ragnarok.
All right, we're gonna end the stream right now. You take it back.
Ragnarok, to me, they tried to add too much comedy for the Thor movies. And I can understand, yeah, they wanted to go in a new direction and make it lighter and stuff, but I actually enjoyed it more.
A lot of people might agree with that.
Don't get me wrong. I love Ragnarok, but
Ragnarok was just so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And you know what? I saw Beta Ray Bill for just a fraction of a second.
Yep.
And that's all I care about.
Well, he was in Infinity War too.
Yeah, but not in the same. This you were like, that's him. That is Beta Ray Bill. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Checking up on chat here. We're still good. It looks like.
Okay.
What else do we have here? What else do we have to go over? Now that we're running on tangents, nonsense. Oh, you put who has the better heroes? Who has the better villains? Who has the better movies?
Yes, and locations. I want to know locations.
All right, so take it one at a time. Heroes.
Okay.
Marvel versus DC. Who has the better heroes?
Batman, Green Lantern, Nightwing.
See, I would honestly break the mold here and say none. I would say that there's not a winner whatsoever.
Sure.
Yeah, no matter who you choose on one side, there's someone to counteract them on the other. No matter
True.
what. You know what I mean? Like we talked earlier, you got Nightwing, Daredevil. I mean, you can just sit and do this shit all day long, man. Batman, Iron Man. Okay, you know what I mean? Like
But
it's just
you can't do it with villains, though.
no, and that is where I think the biggest difference comes in. And I would agree for the most part that DC does have the better villains. I would say that. However, I would say that the way that those villains interact with the the entire continuity of the universe is done much better on Marvel's side, um, which gives Marvel the ability to do crap like Cosmic Ghost Rider destroys everything. You know what I mean, and those kind of things, without breaking up their lining. I mean,
See
because
that?
you can't take the Joker from the Killing Joke and put him into Batman Who Laughs. I mean, you just can't. It wouldn't work. Every arc that DC's got is very specific to that storyline, and yes, it ties in with the rest of the worlds very well too. I might say, um, but they're very much meant to be taken as that specific arc. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
whatever was done before doesn't exist anymore. We start here, we end here. And I like how Marvel kind of does the same thing, but Marvel says it's a little blurrier at the beginning. It's a little blurrier at the end. Maybe this was this version of Iron Man, but maybe not. Maybe it was this version. Maybe it wasn't Iron Man at all. Maybe it was, the Wasp or something. And
Ah,
um, DC, I think, over clarifies it in that, um, which is why I tend to like Marvel a little bit more, as it leaves a little more up to your imagination. But I do know a lot of people that prefer DC just because, especially with their villains, it's very clean cut. You know what I mean?
mhm.
They do not deviate from what has been successful. But yes, they will change characters. I guess we should bring that up, but not nearly as frequently as Marvel does. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe that DC will ever have a Squirrel Girl. I'm not proud of that.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know. Who do you think would win in a fight, Loki or Mister Freeze?
Unfortunately, power level, I'd have to say Loki. But
Would that even be a
if
fair
Mr.
fight though?
Freeze written correctly, if he's written correctly, I love that character. Not because, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of Mr. Freeze, but the Mr. Freeze from the Batman animated series. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Okay.
good one.
Where he's written, he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He has to be in order to save his wife, which, even
Mm,
in the end, Batman's like, I see where you're coming from.
crap. Yeah. All right. So Poison Ivy or Anne of Green Gables? What?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Anne of Green Gables is on our system.
Well, you want to think about this for a minute.
Anne of Green Gables is on our system. Oh, yeah, Art of Chad. Okay, okay, okay. All right. In that case,
And
I'm
right? That's when I'm like, hmm. But here's what I would say: if that was an honest fight, it's Poison Ivy, so it's gonna revert over to what we in the industry kindly refer to as prison rules. And I think that what would then happen is that it becomes anything goes. Poison Ivy is gonna reach out to the rest of DC, but Anne of Green Gables has Blue Water Comics on her back, and I'm just saying some of the stuff I've seen from Blue Water, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know.
47 Decembers. Ooh, good, good, good.
Well, I'm trying not to bring up any books because I don't know what's actually live in the marketplace right now.
Okay,
Um,
go to the marketplace.
Well,
How
I'm
could
in
you?
the marketplace, obviously. You're looking at my screen.
I
Um,
know. Do that.
yeah, so I don't want to bring up any comics that might not be set to live, that, any members could grab right now. Okay, look, dude. Anna Green Gables brings in Melinda Gates. Game over, bro. Game over. You know what I mean? Or Honey Boo Boo. Oh, that
Oh,
wasn't even
honey,
Sharon
boo, boo.
Osbourne. I mean,
You-
they have these guys have so many cool like little books. If anyone that's
Oh,
watching, if you guys are wondering what I'm flipping through here, um, one of the awesome creators in our system, um, Blue Water, they've got a ton of these really interesting. I would refer to them as like a biopic.
they kind
I,
of are those 15 minutes,
yeah.
which is 15 minutes of fame. You got Sharon
Uh huh.
Osbourne. You have uh, the
Kim
mom,
Kardashian.
Kardashian mom. What can't I think of her name? I'm drawing a blank.
Right here. Isn't that it? Kim. Dude, I don't know who the Kardashians are. Look at me, man. I
Yeah, there's
barely know my own name half the time.
Kylie Jenner or Kris Jenner. No,
Oh,
no,
yeah, we're
yeah. I'm just shouting out names now.
that one.
Uh,
Yeah, just end with
yeah,
Jenner. That's probably accurate with one of them.
that one.
Let's see here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Kris Jenner. Okay. So you have the Honey Boo Boo, you have RuPaul. There's just a whole ton of the 15 minutes. And
let's
then
do
they
this.
have,
I just bought the book so everybody can see quick and easy it is to buy them. You
oh,
see
yeah,
working on the book and
nice.
everything. See all the intro, but yeah, it's basically a story of the 15 minutes of fame, and it's just a quick little biopic of
Mhm.
each of these people, and these are really pretty cool. Um, I mean, I'll be honest with you. What the first time I saw them, I was like, "What is this?" Like this is different. It had my spidey senses tingling just a little bit. Um,
Your Peter Tingle?
my Peter tingle. And don't worry, guys, there is an adult switch that you can use in the system in order to hide your Peter Tingle from any other readers in the system. What? Hey, who
I
am I to
can't
tell
believe
people they're not allowed to have a Peter Tingle?
that was a Spider-Man reference, and you had to completely drag it through the mud, man. Oh,
I didn't. You knew what Peter Tingle was from. We both saw the movie.
but no, they have. You really got to check out their 47 Decembers or
Okay.
47 Decembers or Novembers.
Well, let's do it right now. I'm gonna buy.
Okay.
Ooh, this is a popular one in the system. This was just uploaded, I think, today. Yeah, this was released today, and it's already sold 10 copies. All right. What do we got here? What are we working with? What are we doing? Ooh, I like that art.
Phenomenal art, and the
Who's the
story.
artist on this?
Oh man, they do the Scarecrow so much better than the Batman comics do. It's such an amazing story.
I'm not seeing the artist credited here. Maybe it'll be credited towards the back of the book. Oh, definitely got like kind of a weird anime vibe to it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
Right in the face. I'm just gonna flip through it because I don't want to ruin this for everybody else. But yeah, this looks great. I'm gonna have to check this out. I like the usage of the black and white inside, but still keeping an even gradients and tones like that. That's
oh
something you
yeah.
don't
Just
see a lot of anymore. Cool.
the second one, it's eerie.
I'm not sure.
I'm sure Siri's yelling at me. Sorry, guys. Ah, that's pretty neat. Let's see. I'm trying to find the artist name though, because I hate not giving credit where credit's due. Let's
Oh, that
see.
means
She's beating him up. She's hitting him good. Get him! Home intruder. I always like seeing comics of a young lady beating the crap out of a home intruder. I mean, that's so much fun. Probably why I didn't like Killing Joke as much as everybody else, right? See, I need to just skip to the back because now I'm gonna like dropping spoilers this whole time I'm going.
okay. The
So
artist looks like it was Michael Shelfer.
Michael Selfer. Nice.
Shelfer.
Well, I dig
Writer
it. That's
was
pretty cool.
Dan Rafter. So yeah, I love that series.
Is this 50 Shades of the Twilight games?
Yes, yes, it is the ultimate parody. You'll love it.
Um, I mean, I gotta buy it. Gotta grab it. So to anyone watching, either live or after the fact, I'm able to buy these just because right now we are in a closed beta with the software that you're seeing me go through. This is the Crypto Comics Marketplace, of course, that I'm using. Um, if you would like to help us beta test, we are letting a very small handful of people in. The best way of being able to get approved for an invite is to sign up during one of our live interviews with creators. The second best way is to leave your name and email on our sign up page. We will put the links to that all over social media. So wherever you're watching this, there's a link within clicking distance of my beautiful face right now. But it is cryptocomics.com/pre-signup. And what you'll do is you'll get added to a list. And as we get through that list, approving people, we go ahead and let you in. During that small time in the beta phase, you can actually read and check out all the comic books in the system entirely for free. Give us your feedback on the system. More importantly, give creators, feedback on the books that you find. Just by leaving them a nice review after you're done reading it. As you can see, you just click add review. Go ahead and add that here. And what that's going to do is as soon as we turn the system live, that's going to ensure that all these awesome creators that gave us all these comic books to work with and to test everything with, um, that they get kind of promoted up over any of the newer creators. Gives them a fighting chance against you know the the powers that be, and help us do our job at promoting them as much as possible. And really, I think at this point, it doesn't matter what type of comics you're into. We have a handful that you'll probably
Mm-hmm.
dig. So, um, oh man, and there's top two again. Oh, I don't want to read top two again.
I love the
Probably
top two.
Cardell was in the chat earlier, so I'm gonna. You kind of want to read your comic books again, Cardell.
All right, well, that's going to be it from us, my fellow cave dwellers. So thank you for watching the Market Mondays. And if you've enjoyed this video, maybe check out some of the comics that we've actually talked about it. They're on our system.
Maliciously slap that like and subscribe.
Yes,
Beat the crap.
you're allowed to hit it as inappropriately as you like. I went there. Okay.
Take out all that stay-at-home frustration on that button.
Yep. Make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a suggestion as to what you'd like us to see, us to talk about in the future.
Please do. We're not very good at coming up with this by ourselves.
All right. Well, everyone stay connected and we'll see you later. Much love.
See you guys. Thank you.